There was a time when the world ran on Blackberry. CEOs of big companies, Wall Street giants, even the President of United States relied on this device. It was a symbol of power, success, and unbreakable security. Fast forward just a few years. BlackBerry is dead. What really happened to the tech giant worth over $50 billion? Was it arrogance, a refusal to adapt, or was BlackBerry doomed from the start? This is the rise and fall of an empire that once ruled the tech world. The 1990s were chaotic for business communication. At the time, two Canadian engineers, Mike Lazardis and Doc Friend, were dreaming of something new, something that no one had ever attempted before: sending emails via mobile phones. From their little office at Research in Motion, they just had one goal: send data over wireless networks. At that time, the world of mobile communication was still stuck in the dark ages. Sending emails on the go was too futuristic, and communication was limited to bulky laptops and slow fax machines. Lazardis and Fring had a vision to change all that, but making that vision a reality wasn't easy. In fact, RIM was facing bankruptcy. Despite their ambitious ideas, they had no secure fundings. They tried everything to keep RIM afloat, taking out loans, cutting corners, and praying for the right opportunity. Banks turned them down, and many thought the idea of a mobile device that could send emails was too far-fetched to succeed. But the engineers refused to give up. They dreamed of a future where communication was instant, mobile, and always at your fingertips. By 1992, RIM had burned through its cash and was on the edge of collapse. That's when a savvy businessman entered the picture: Jim Basile. He saw the untapped opportunity in mobile communication. Basile provided RIM the financial stability that they desperately needed. In 1996, RIM launched its first pager, the Interactive Pager 900, a device that allowed users to send and receive messages instantly. This was a groundbreaking move at the time when mobile communication was still in its infancy. Unlike traditional pagers that only received messages, the Interactive Pager 900 enabled two-way communication. It became famous among professionals who needed to stay connected on the go. It laid the foundation for what would later become the hallmark of BlackBerry: secure and reliable mobile messaging. But it was only a glimpse of what was to come. The real game changer was just around the corner. In 1999, the BlackBerry 850 was born, a device that changed everything. It was a mobile device with a QWERTY keyboard that allowed users to type emails on the go. It was one of the biggest revolutions in the communication. For the first time, you could send and receive emails whether you were sitting on a park, at a meeting, or traveling the world. It was so addictive that its owners couldn't stop themselves from checking their emails at every free moment. Soon, it was branded the Blackberry. The moment the first prototype hit the Wall Street, bankers couldn't believe their eyes. They were so impressed that some offered to buy them on the spot. The BlackBerry was the device of the future. In 2005, BlackBerry dropped a bombshell with its most revolutionary feature yet: the BlackBerry Messenger. It wasn't just a regular messaging app. It allowed BlackBerry users to send unlimited messages for free. It wasn't just about convenience. It completely transformed how people communicated. For the first time, users could send secure messages, share photos, and send voice notes in real time. Even though things were looking up, the fight wasn't over. As RIM grew, the fear of failure still hung over them. Every move counted. One wrong step could ruin everything. But through the uncertainty, one thing was clear: BlackBerry was quickly becoming the future of communication. By 2005, BlackBerry wasn't just a tech company, it was a lifestyle. Military-grade encryption made it the phone of the governments and generals. BlackBerry Messenger created the world's first real-time messaging culture, and the iconic keyboard was smooth, efficient, and built for speed. BlackBerry had 50% of the US smartphone market and over 80 million users worldwide. And behind the scenes, Lazardis was the visionary genius behind the technology, while Basile brought the drive and strategy to turn RIM into a powerhouse. Lazardis had the ideas and Basile made them happen. They were a perfect team until they weren't. In 2007, the tech world shook to its core. Steve Jobs took the stage and revealed something revolutionary:
an iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator. an iPod, a phone. Are you getting it?
The iPhone, a sleek all-screen device with no physical keyboard, just glass. In a boardroom across the continent, BlackBerry executives watched the keynote. Who'd type on glass? No keyboard? No business user would want that. They laughed, but they missed the point. Apple wasn't building a phone for just business. They are building a computer that fits in your pocket. When the industry was still trying to wrap its head around the iPhone, Apple dropped the real bombshell. A year after its launch, Apple introduced the App Store. Now it wasn't just Apple making apps. Literally anyone could join in. A college kid in a dorm, a startup in a garage, a game developer with a wild idea. Anyone could build an app and release it to the App Store. Suddenly, your phone wasn't just for work. It was for fun. Games, music, photos, and social media. BlackBerry had none of that. The world had already changed, but BlackBerry hadn't. By 2010, BlackBerry was desperate, but their mistakes only made things worse. While Apple was inviting developers, BlackBerry's OS was a nightmare to build on. Creators quickly saw where the real opportunity was. The iPhone was easier to build for. It had a global audience and most importantly, it made money. So they walked away from BlackBerry and ran toward Apple. BlackBerry saw the iPhone's buzz and panicked, so they rushed out their own version of a touchscreen phone. The result, the BlackBerry Stone. It was their attempt to copy Apple, but they delivered frustration. The screen wasn't truly touch sensitive. You had to physically press it down like a giant button. It flopped hard. Their cameras were mediocre. Video recording came late. There was no real app ecosystem. While BlackBerry was falling apart, Jim Basile wanted to take the company even bigger. NFL team ownership, global expansion, flashy launches. He tried everything to revive the dead giant. And Mike Lizardis, he was still thinking all of this is just a bad dream. But no, it was the reality. The co-CEOs clashed. Meetings turned into shouting matches. A toxic culture spread like a wildfire. Deadlines slipped through the cracks. Top talents walked out of the door, and the spark of innovation? Gone. As Apple and Google sprinted forward, BlackBerry was fighting itself. By 2016, BlackBerry gave up on making its own phones. BlackBerry handed over the keys to a Chinese electronic company called TCL. TCL tried to bring it back by adding full touchscreens, Android OS, and a modern look, but it was too late. The world had already moved on. But the name that once meant power now meant nothing. In 2020, TCL officially shut down BlackBerry phones. And finally, the king was dead. Could BlackBerry have survived? Maybe BlackBerry was built for a different era, a time when emails were king and fun was a distraction. Today, BlackBerry lives on as a cybersecurity firm no one really talks about. But for a brief shining moment, it was the phone that once ruled the world.